of guys. There was 9 guys in their cabin, and Lloyd, he didn't really know anybody, and so we're like, hey, let's just put Lloyd in this cabin over here. He's been here at camp forever. That'd be great. They'll love him. Well, they didn't love him. In fact, they didn't want him in this cabin. You see, these 9 boys were all pretty athletic. They loved sports. They loved to go out and play sports, and Lloyd, he really wasn't very good at sports. In fact, most of the time, if you threw the ball to Lloyd, he'd miss it. In fact, if he ran too fast, he had to be careful because his feet would get tangled and he'd just do a face plant right on the ground. Most of the time, he really couldn't do much in sports. And remember, this is what we do, guys and girls. We find somebody that's different than us. It could just be one thing. And these boys, the one thing, he didn't play sports, and so they were actually very cruel to him. They didn't see the good things that he did. They didn't see he was pretty funny. They didn't see that they could make great cabin designs out front and win all these points, and how they could, at free time, instead of just going and playing basketball, which is okay, but he would come up with these great ideas. They didn't see that part of him. They just looked at that one thing about him. He doesn't play games, he doesn't play sports, and so we had nothing to do with him. And what they would do to him was actually very cruel. One guy would run up behind him and they would slap him in the back of the head. Not just one guy. They would get in a line and go slap, 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 slap in the back of his head. And of course it hurt him physically as they kept hitting him in the back of the head, but it also hurt him on the inside emotionally. And finally he goes to his counselor. His counselor's name is Boomer. He goes, Boomer, what do I do with these guys? Because I don't do anything to them, and they're just slapping me in the back of the head. And Boomer goes, you know, I've heard about that. When those guys do it to you, they're going to be in trouble. And he goes, and Lloyd looks at Boomer, and he goes, Boomer, they don't do it when you're around. They do it when you're not here. He goes, what should I do? He goes, should I go tell on him? He goes, should I hit him back? He goes, what should I do? And Boomer kind of is telling me the story. And he says, you know what? He goes, I just stopped for a minute. And I go, God, what do you want me to say to this kid who's just getting picked on by these guys, you know? And he goes, he just comes at him. He says, okay, you don't know, Lloyd, what you should do? You do what Jesus would do. Lloyd's like trying to picture Jesus, you know, walking down the camp street and getting hit in the back of the head by these guys. He's trying to picture that, you know, and he's like Boomer, I don't know what Jesus would do. Tell me what Jesus would do. And Boomer takes him to this verse in Matthew that says, bless those who curse you, be kind to those who hurt you. Lloyd goes, what? I gotta be nice to those guys when they hit me in the back of the head? Are you serious? There's no way I could do that. There's no way. I'm way too young. Maybe my youth pastor could do that, but he goes, I can't do that. I'm just in 6th grade. I can't do that. And Lloyd, he goes, ooh, lovely. Here we go. We're all done? Okay, we're all done. Good thing it's all sand. Usually happens on the carpet in the barn. Now, he takes this, he goes there, and he's talking to Boomer about this. Well, Boomer takes him, and he goes, hey, what did they do to Jesus? Remember what they did to Jesus. He says they took Jesus and they beat him in the face and they whipped his back and they put this crown of thorns on top of his head and they beat his head and they put him on this cross and they crucified him. And he goes, Jesus, he loved them the whole time. In fact, you know, the Bible says that when Jesus says, Father, forgive them for they don't know what they do, he's talking about the soldiers. He's talking about these soldiers are just doing their job. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know that they were doing the work of God the Father. And so Jesus, while he's hanging there, he says, Father, forgive these soldiers because they don't really know what they're doing. And Lloyd looks at Boomer and goes, I don't know. I don't think I could do that. That's just way too hard for me. And Boomer looks at Lloyd and goes, no, Lloyd, you don't have to do that. But if you want to be like Jesus, yeah, you got to start working towards that a little bit. And Lloyd's like, no, I don't think I could do that. Well, the next day, Boomer's telling me the story. The next day, Boomer's over at Oak Rock, and he's waiting for all his guys to come over for flag raising. And pretty soon all the guys are coming across the bridge, and he sees Lloyd going across the same bridge that you guys go across down there. He's going across this bridge, and this boy runs up behind Lloyd, goes slap right in the back of Lloyd's head. He sees Lloyd's head fly forward like this, you know, and Lloyd's staring at the ground. He's got his fist clenched like this, and he's staring at the ground. And, of course, the boy who just hit him runs on past him thinking he's pretty cool. He didn't see what he really looked like. But he runs past her thinking he's pretty cool, and Boomer goes, oh, man, poor Lloyd. And Boomer says he gets up to go talk to the boy that just hits Lloyd because he comes over and sits down at Oak Rock over there. And Boomer's heading towards that boy, and he looks over, and Lloyd is heading towards them also. Lloyd's head is down, his fist is clenched like this, and he watches the boy that just hits him, and Boomer's like, oh no, Lloyd's going to punch him. And he gets there about the same time as Lloyd, and Lloyd undoes his fist. And he says, you know something? I saw you playing soccer yesterday, and you're a great soccer player. This kid just stared at Lloyd. What's he doing? I just said something, I just hit him in the back of the head, and now he's actually saying something nice to me. But guys and girls, what I saw happen that day at camp was one of the greatest things I ever saw happen at camp. You see, suddenly this boy looked at Lloyd differently. He didn't see a boy who couldn't play sports, who couldn't catch a ball, couldn't run very well. There was something about Lloyd he liked. It was like he was feeling somebody inside Lloyd. Who was he feeling inside Lloyd? He was feeling Jesus. You see, because Lloyd chose to act like Jesus, he's sensing Jesus inside of him, and he's attracted to him. He's going, and that day, those two guys became friends. By the end of that day, the whole cabin became Lloyd's friends. In fact, they didn't just become his friends, they actually became his protectors. And Lloyd, he would walk down the street. If anybody would say anything to Lloyd, the whole cabin would come around him and go, hey, nobody talks to Lloyd that way. Now, here's the thing. Don't miss the point. Don't miss this point. Look right here. Because one boy who was 12 years old chose to act like Jesus. 9 other 12-year-old guys changed. Did you get that? Because one boy chose to act like Jesus, 9 other guys changed. And guys and girls, this is what happens when you connect with the heart of Jesus and you have the same heart that you care about people, is that people around you begin to change. And if you continue to care about people enough, pretty soon other people begin to change. And pretty soon, if you care enough as you get older, pretty soon you can go into an entire place and people can change. Because Jesus can change this world into the kind of world he wanted to be when he made it, but he's going to use his followers to do the changing. But he's only going to use his followers who go and choose to connect with his heart and act like him and do the things that he would do, because then he can work through them and he can begin to change the world. And that's the person that I want to be in my travels. I want God to take me to places where he can use me to change people and change the world for the cause of Jesus Christ. But it comes with learning how to act like him and be like him. Let me give you an example real quick. I'm going to put this guy away. Let me give you an example real quick about what it means to care. Tomorrow you are going in the store down here maybe. There's probably some time for the store. Somebody goes inside the store the last day of camp and they have their money and they got, they want to spend the rest of their money that they have, and so they go and they buy a souvenir they've been kind of looking at the whole time, and they buy a soda, they buy a candy bar, and they walk outside. They walk outside with this and they're going down those rock steps, in front of the store. They start stepping down those steps, and they're uneven, and all of a sudden they trip, and they go pow, boom, and they hit the ground, and their face hits the ground, their soda goes boom, hits the split rail fence, and it's spraying all over, and the stuff in their bag hits the ground, it flies all over the place. And you see it happen. And some of you in here, some of you in this arena will see that happen, and you'll all of a sudden go, oh, and you'll see it happen, you'll go, oh man, and you'll laugh. And there's some of you in here that will do that. Because you don't care about people. You just care about yourself. And there's some of you already in here who are like that. You can already hear that a little bit. You just care about yourself. But there's some of you in here. There's some of you in here, and these are probably a lot of the people that are Christians, and they'll see that, they go, oh man, I hope they're okay. I hope the guy's okay. Hey, let's go play archery. And you'll care about this much. But then it'll go away really quickly. But there's some of you, and unfortunately, for the followers of Jesus Christ, there's not enough. There'll be a few of you here that'll see that happen, and you'll see, you go, and you'll go over to that person, and you'll help them up, and usually there'll be a group of you, and it'll probably be a group of your friends, because you hang out with the people that you're like. You just do. And if there's one person that's that leader who really cares about people, and you like being around that person because you feel good, because you're slowly becoming like Jesus together, you go over and you help that person up and you brush them off and you get their stuff, and you help them. But there'll probably only one of you. There'll probably only one of you that will do the next thing. In fact, of all the followers of Christ, there's not very many of these people. But maybe it's you. You'll walk over and you'll pick up that can of soda. You'll take it and you'll throw it in the trash. And you go inside the store and you open up the refrigerator, you pull out another can of soda. And you walk over and you reach in your own pocket, take your own money, and you pay for it. You walk back outside, and by now your friends have taken care of this person, and they've brushed them off, and they've put their stuff back in their bag, and you walk up, and you hand them the soda, and go, here's your soda. And they go, the person just fell, and goes, no, that's not my soda. I saw it hit the split rail fence, and the split open, and it goes, no, I bought you a new one. The person goes, oh, thank you. Well, here, let me give you some money. No, you don't have to pay for it. You see, to be like Jesus, it has to cost you something. To really be like Jesus and change